Thanks, you guys. So, some of you might have already heard this proposal, but basically, you know, it's not infrequent that people who are normal members and members of other reform-minded groups around the valley and around the country to come up with some kind of idea like, let's have a smoke out in front of the Capitol. Yeah, you know, let's all get stoned. And I think that's great, but, you know, people might get arrested. And so I've always been like, if you're willing to get arrested, then let's do it in a way that we can actually make something happen, you know? And so rather than get arrested and go to jail and get out, and now you're charged with some kind of marijuana thing, and you know you don't have really any defense because you were light smoking right in front of the cop, or maybe flicked your roach at him or something. Why not do it in a way where, for right now in Arizona, you know, we have the Arizona Medical Marijuana Act that allows for the use of marijuana and the possession of marijuana. Possession of marijuana anywhere other than a correctional institution and a secondary or elementary school. That's what our initiative says, the one that was passed. That is the highest law in the land. It's protected by the Arizona Voter Protection Act, which was also another initiative, but that's part of our Constitution. It says that the state government cannot modify any initiative passed by the people. So about a year ago, our state legislature passed a law that said, in addition to correctional facilities and elementary and secondary schools, also you're not allowed to possess marijuana on any public college or university campus, which clearly is an additional restriction on the act itself. The ASU, and this is not just an inconvenience for patients and a threat to patients who are students or employees of the universities or just visitors on campus. Not only is that a problem for them, but ASU, for an example, has been funded to do medical marijuana research. You know, the last round, and Stacy knows about this, that we tried to get new conditions added to the medical marijuana list of approved conditions, and they rejected them flat out across the board because there were no controlled studies, they claimed, indicating that marijuana was helpful for these new conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety. And so ASU said, well, we'll do the research. They got the money, and then they passed this law, and now we can't do any research in Arizona on our university campuses because it's illegal to possess marijuana there because of this new law that was passed a year ago. All right, let me try to move along here on this. So the law is unconstitutional. Why? Because it is in violation of the Arizona Voter Protection Act. The Arizona Voter Protection Act says that any law that's passed that modifies an existing initiative passed by the people has to satisfy two criteria. Number one, it has to be passed by 75% of both houses, which it did. It actually passed by more than 90% of both houses, the Senate, the state Senate, and the state legislature. But number two, it must further the purpose of the initiative that it modifies. The purpose of the Arizona Medical Marijuana Act, Proposition 203, is found in Section 2G of the initiative itself. It says the purpose of this act is to protect patients, their physicians, and providers from criminal and other penalties. So not only does the law that says you can't possess medical marijuana on college campuses not further the purpose of the Arizona Medical Marijuana Act, it's in 180 degrees against it, because all it does is subject more people to criminal prosecution, whereas the purpose of the act was to protect patients from criminal prosecution. So I think we have what is clearly an unconstitutional statute passed by the legislature. And their reasons were, well, we might not get federal funds if we allow marijuana on campus. What if the federal government doesn't give us the campus and colleges money? And then it's some crazy reason that they came up with that they didn't have any real justification for. So what I said is, if someone's willing to put themselves out there and get arrested, well then get arrested for possessing marijuana on a college campus. Let's get your case dismissed, and in the process get this whole bogus unconstitutional law thrown out, which was passed by over 90% of the state legislature, but can be overturned by Phoenix Normal, our little group here at Phoenix Normal, to set an example for what's going to happen in the future if